in your email.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Let's turn that off. We'll share the show notes. We'll share nothing.
That's
Hey,
right.
everybody. Welcome to the show. We're just getting started, checking audio levels, etc., etc. Hope everybody's having a wonderful holiday season. And
Yeah.
we're going to get going in just a moment. Make sure the sound effects are working. I need to grab some water, but I'll soldier through and we'll get it for the Patreon recording next. So, you ready, Craig?
Yeah. Ready as I'll ever be.
Make sure our audio is roughly equivalent. Yeah, that looks good enough. And here we go in 3, 2, 1. Technorama episode 758, Christmas Crunch. My favorite.
Hey, Goofy, you got the wrong show notes up.
758.
759.
Oh, we're on 759. Well, let's redo that. The people on the video will be the only witnesses. Ah, there it is at the top of the list. Not
Yeah.
Sure all right, stopping the audio recording. I thought that title sounded a little familiar.
Yeah.
I had enough
The
Christmas
one we used last week.
I got to go on a holiday diet. There we go. In 3, 2, 1. Technorama episode 759 for December 11th. We are short one reindeer. Rudolph! Welcome to Technorama. This is the show that takes a lighthearted look at tech, science, sci-fi, and all things Christmas, I guess.
Yeah.
If this is your first time joining us on Technorama, welcome to the show. If you are returning, welcome back. We appreciate you giving us your time. My name is Chuck Tomasi from Phoenix, Arizona, and right over there, it's the one and only Craig Stepp from North Carolina. How you doing, Craig?
I'm doing pretty good. We attended the pup crawl this last week, which is between a few breweries and a distillery and a couple of restaurants all around in a little circle downtown with their dogs. Yeah, and there's lots of other people and lots of other dogs. Had a pretty good time. The weather was about right. It was fun.
Business is coming back online?
Business. Oh yeah, actually I was thinking how I was looking forward to this because it felt like things were getting back to normal as far as
Good.
being around town. So yeah, it felt really good to be out there and kind of patronize
Patronize
the businesses. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Trying to contribute a little bit. So yeah, we had a good time. It was great. As a matter of fact, speaking of getting back to normal, Chimney Rock, which is not far from my house, they're in the process of rebuilding. However, this coming December, is it the 14th, Saturday?
Yes.
Okay, on the 14th, they're doing a Christmas thing, a Christmas reopening, and some of the businesses that have been working hard to get back up to speed, they're doing a Christmas thing. There'll be music and stuff like that. So we're going to definitely go there and show some support, but because those people, some other places really got hit hard with the hurricane. So we do our part. Yeah.
All right. Sounds like a good time.
Mm-hmm.
Shall we get into our listener feedback?
Yeah, let's do that.
Letters. Oh, we get letters. We get your letters every day. Mailman, mail today. Reach right in and pull one out. Those letters. I love those letters. Yes, I have a to say. Oh, boy. Mailman. Mail today.
Before we begin, Donna went out and got the mail today. And she says, "Oh, this one's for you." And it looked like a Christmas card. I said, "No, It looks corporate to me." And I don't know if you remember, but about 3-4 years ago, we had all the windows on the house and the guest house replaced and the doors. There is nothing left to replace. Yet this company continues to send us solicitations for, buy one window, get the next one at half price, or get a free door. It just keeps coming about every 2 months. And I said, it's probably another window and door offer. I crack
Yeah.
it open. It looks like a Christmas card, opens, folds open like a Christmas card, and there's a check inside for a discount for 30% off your next window.
Yeah. Right. That's like, you know what that reminds me of is uh we had you and I both we have the that timeshare, which is not a timeshare, but they kept saying kind of thing.
It's a money
And every
suck.
time and every time you go, excuse me, every time you go on vacation to one of these spots, like, oh, be sure to book some time so we can show you what we have to offer. And it's like, you can't sell me anything else. I've got
Right.
everything
They want
I
to sell you an
need.
upgrade.
That's what I'm saying. There's nothing. My son's grown up. There's nothing for us to upgrade for. There's nothing.
And we can charge them
We got what
higher
we need.
maintenance fees. Yep. Yep.
Ugh.
Yep.
Every time they want to do that, we're always like, oh, I got to go back in the main office. Okay, let's do it so we can avoid that person.
How about
Skip it.
I come back in the office and visit you to tell you how to run a CRM better. So it says who the suckers are that don't need upgrading or Windows or whatever it is. Like this customer, don't call this customer for another 10 years because their windows are still very new and working really well. And it's not like I'm cutting holes in the walls to go, you know, I think I need a new window.
Oh, by golly, I got 8 new windows.
There's a hole in the wall. I better call Renewal by Anderson to get some windows. Hope they have the same kind I got 5 years ago.
Yeah, right.
And I have this 30% off coupon I got for Christmas last year.
Oh, look, Chuck, the new ones won't match the old ones, so we got to replace them all.
Right. That's what would happen.
Yeah.
In for a penny. All right, we have a voicemail. We haven't got a voicemail in a long time. You better put that
Whoa.
banner on the bottom that tells people how to get to the voicemail just in case they forgot.
Yep.
707-530-2428. There we go.
Technology that I use is sometimes calling the line and forgetting what I'm going to say. Have a good one today.
That's why you need it. Oh, okay, it goes with our question of the week that says, what seemingly old-fashioned tech do you still use regularly and love? Like vinyl records, physical books, landline phone.
Yeah.
So he said his was to call the line, but he forgot. So maybe you ought to take your old cognitive artifact of pencil and paper and write these ideas down so that when you do call the phone, you can have your thoughts all gathered
Well,
up. But thank you
there
very
is-
much, whoever that was.
That's right. There is one technology I know that you and Yorga still uses.
Postcards.
That's right. And we use it for our Patreon people. You know, we send the pen cards off. So that's something we do. We do handwrite a little note on them.
Why is my Facebook page just is not responsive, so I can't even pull up the question. I'll try that again.
Oh, really? Okay, I can do
It
that.
just went spinning. There we go. Okay, got it. What seemingly old-fashioned? I already read the question. Let's go into the answers. Lone Guy's Night says a flathead screwdriver. Yeah.
Yeah. I hate flatheads, but yes, they're around.
You mean the people or the screws?
The screws.
Flathead people.
I hate flathead screws because how many times do you try to turn it and it's your screwdriver pops out? It's like, give me a Phillips head.
Phillips will strip just as easily if a screw is really tight.
Yeah, but I've had more success with Phillips than flatheads. It's easier to deal with.
Torques, man, torques.
Torques, yeah, that'll work. I got a million of Torques attachments, so yeah, let's do that. Steve London says books, handwritten letters. I kind of succumbed over the stack of old linen paper of about 500 sheets.
Wow.
Handmade around 1910. Oh, he said stumbled. I'm sorry, not succumbed. Stumbled over a stack of old linen paper. Wow, that's amazing.
They just take the ink so well. Love it.
Yes.
I
Yeah,
have
it
some
is
of that and I reserve it for not 1910 old, but more like 2002 old. I use it for resumes because it's got like the watermark on it.
Yeah.
step it up when it's resume time.
I do love drawing on paper. I mean, I draw on my tablets and stuff, but I do love drawing on paper. And I had um it was a ream at one point of kind of hard, not cardstock, but it was close. And I had it in a paper tray. And I bet I moved 4 or 5 times with that paper tray. And I think it's actually still in my storage room. So unless they gave Harrison some of it. But yeah, I used to draw on it all the time because it would take the ink well, but it had the perfect texture. So you get that little bit of resistance as you're writing, but not too much.
Mhm.
It was great. It was great. Fantastic.
Weber Baker says, Cogley, books, young man, books, thousands of them. If time wasn't so important, I'd show you something. My library, thousands of books. Captain James
Wow.
T. Kirk. And what would be the point?
Yeah, Captain. I love books, but I'm gonna tell you something. I really don't. I don't like. I feel uncomfortable holding them when I'm trying to read, especially a good heavy book. But I also see the value in being able to carry books around on like what was my Kindle or my tablet or something like that. So I don't know. It's hard. I'm kind of in between. My wife, she wants nothing to do with a Kindle. She want to carry. She wants a
That's
book.
how Donna was for the longest time too. Oh, I like the feel, or I like the smell. And then
Of
I got her
course.
Kindle and she loaded up. It's like, yeah, can you take 10 books with you on the plane? No.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so but I don't mind the occasional book to read, whether it's paperback or hardcover, but I
Mhm.
don't like hanging on to them because they take up space. And then when you have to move them, they are extremely heavy. It's I only try to keep the ones that really have a sentimental value to me, like the ones that are signed.
Mhm.
Michio Kaku signed the one book, or Scott Sigler signed this book. I made it out to, Chuck and Donna on their 25th anniversary kind of thing. That means something to me. But for the longest time, we kept some of our old college textbooks. Like, well, I might program on an IBM 370 mainframe again. No,
Oh,
can't.
look, Pascal.
Right. Now, I do have some
Yeah.
old, thinner ones that go with my Apple IIe because, it's just part of the package. You got to have.
Oh, I wouldn't. It's like if I had a Commodore 64 user guide, which was kind of
Right.
thick, spiral bound. I would have kept it. Yeah, of course.
All right. Let's, spiral.
Oh,
Bound.
wait.
Oh, I wish they
Fritz.
still made those because
Yeah,
they laid flat. Fritz,
Fritz Seward says, books, lots of them, printed comics. I do love printed comics.
again, they take up lots of space.
They
What are you
do.
going to do with them? And
Mhm.
99.999% of them aren't worth the paper they're printed on anymore. It's not like they're all going to appreciate in value.
Oh, well, wait a minute. So comics, I don't keep comics around for value. I mean, I
Slusher
enjoy my
does.
comics. He might. Well, I don't know if he sells them or not, but I certainly. I mean, value to me, I don't. I'm not worried about them increasing in value so I can sell them. They're for me. I don't.
And how often do you go back and
Oh,
read them?
from time to time.
From
Oh
time
well,
to
right now.
And as
Yeah, I
you
don't sit there and
scale
read them.
down your living space,
They're in this. They're in my storage room, and they will be in my new office when I get it.
okay.
So, yeah,
I'm
they
fine with
will
that.
make it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just getting to a point in my
I don't
life.
have as many as. I don't have as many comics as Dave Slusher or some other people I even know. They had a whole room in their house. It was just comics all over the floor. I'm not like that. I got
He's got boxes and boxes. He bought those comic racks,
yeah.
whatever they are.
Yeah, I've got about 3 boxes, and that's it. So, well, a few years ago, I did go through the dog days and kind of reviewed some comics that I pulled out.
Yep.
What 30 of them, 31,
Gary
and
says, "Howdy, folks."
yeah. So I do read them from once in a while.
All right, Mike
Now,
Robinson.
Gary's also a comic book fan. I would like to know how often does he read them?
True. Do you have a collection, or you just borrow, or do you read them online? Mike Robinson says, "Tractor with a loader bucket and a medium-sized blade attachment. Digital cameras are becoming victims of advancing technology. A
Mhm.
book or magazine from time to time. An MP3 player that just plays audio and doesn't connect to Wi-Fi or Bluetooth.
There's some value in that. Yeah.
Do axes and machetes count? Absolutely. Don't always need to spray those chemicals that do more damage to people than critters to get rid of a weed.
Hey, Gary Lindros said manual can opener. He said electric can openers are the devil's work.
I got a question for you about can
Hey,
openers. Do you
Hey,
do you
go
cut
ahead.
the lid so it pops up, or do you cut around the edge below the lid?
Well, I was just gonna say, when we moved in here, there were some kitchen utensils that were left behind
Yes.
and some Tupperware stuff. But one of the kitchen utensils was a can opener that cuts along the bottom or the edge of the
Yeah. So the
lid.
cutting blade is horizontal rather than
Yes.
vertical.
And to be honest with you, I've seen that before, but when I saw that one, I was like, what? And it took me a minute to get oriented. And then once I did, I'm like, why is the lid not coming off? Because
Craig's,
you have to peel it off.
Craig's cutting it sideways and all the pickled juice runs out.
Yeah, long ways on the can. No, but it took me a minute, and then the lid doesn't automatically just pop off. I was like, it took me a second to
Right.
kind of work, and it goes pink, and it's
Lisa did that
no
with our
sharp edge.
cranberry sauce at Thanksgiving. And I said, why did you choose to do it that way? Because we got a hand turn one. And she said, that way it doesn't cut your hand. I said, but you've now you've changed the sharp edge from the circular lid to the circumference of the can. I said, you still have a sharp connection in there that you could.
Oh no, it's not sharp. Actually, it cuts it, but it's not sharp at all. That
Yeah,
was
it
the
is.
advantage of
That's
cutting
the
the
whole
lid
point
off.
of canning. That's the whole point of a can opener is it
When you
pierces
cut it and it's
lid.
cutting on the inside of the lid, yeah, it's sharp edge.
There's going to be a sharp edge either way.
I don't feel it. I've had my hands all over that thing. I was worried when I was
Not
pulling the
not
lid
the
off.
top, not the top that lifts up like a toilet seat. The actual can, the top edge of the can that you just separated the lid from. That's the
Oh,
sharp
it's still
edge.
not sharp. Yeah, it's not really
Yeah,
sharp.
it is. Okay, Lisa, we haven't finished our comments yet, and we're 15 minutes into the show.
It's having fun with it.
Lisa says, we use our landline and books, have a bunch of 45s I saved, hoping to find a jukebox for someday. Oh, Lisa, we should get together sometime. I still have my turntable. Darren Abbott from the Star Trek crew says, I still have an old style alarm clock that I probably bought in the early 1990s. I wouldn't say I love it, though. Nobody loves their alarm clock. Let's just face it. That's
You
the
know what?
devil's tool.
I never enjoyed having a like one of those little clocks with the illuminated faces.
Like the wind up
Because-
alarm clocks?
Not that. No, like it's an electronic alarm clock, but like a alarm radio clock where the face is lit up because it always kind of lights up the room a little bit too much.
Well, a lot of them have dimmers, you know.
I don't. No, I've never had one that had a dimmer.
Oh,
So I
the
just
one
use
we've
I
got
use
for
my
a little-
watch, but
The one we have that still has a 40-pin iPod connector on it is dimmable, and Donna keeps dimming it down to nothing, and I think the power's out.
well, I use my watch. When I go to bed, I'll wear my watch to bed.
And finally, Teresa says, physical books by the ton, and I have analog clocks everywhere. Do CDs count? Yes, I still have one of those little trifold travel clocks. I don't use it. I don't bring it. I don't know why I have it. I should probably donate it.
Yeah.
The kind that has like the metal bell in it that goes cling, 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 cling.
Yeah. Yeah. I think my grandmother had one. It almost looks like a makeup case or something. It pops up. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. It's a giant version of my earbuds case right now.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. Right. That's pretty cool.
All right. That takes care of our comments for the day, including our voicemail. Remember, if you want to get in touch with us, we'll give you another question at the end of the show. You can call us 707-530-2428 or reach us via email, technorama@chuckchat.com.
Another letter from a listener day.
History time. Sit down, class. It's history time because it's the 346th day of the year in the Gregorian calendar. There are a scant 20 days remaining in the year. Oh,
Ooh.
my. It was on this date in 1901 that Marconi,
What?
I should know how to pronounce his name. He's Italian. He transmitted
Limo.
first transatlantic radio signal from Poldhu, Cornwall, England to St. John's, Newfoundland.
And it was also on that date in 1913 that more than 2 years after it was stolen from the Louvre, Leonardo da Vinci's, I started to say DiCaprio, Leonardo da Vinci's painting Mona Lisa was recovered in Florence, Italy. The thief Vincio
Vincenzo.
Perugia, huh?
Vincenzo.
Vincenzo Perugia was immediately arrested.
It's the Italian version of Vincent. December 11, 1972, Apollo 17 became the sixth and final Apollo mission to land on the moon. We never went to the moon.
All right.
Your
And
turn.
it was 16 years ago today that Bernie Madoff was arrested and charged with securities fraud in a $50 billion Ponzi scheme.
Yeah, Bernie Madoff with all your money. Ha ha. It was
Yeah.
15. It wasn't an appropriate name. I mean, you could have called him Dewey Cheatham and Howe, and it would have been funnier.
Right.
It was 15 years ago today that the Finnish game developer Rovio Entertainment released the hit mobile game Angry Birds internationally on iOS. Angry Birds is
15
now
years ago.
15, 2009.
Wow. I played it that long ago. Wow. And it was on that date in 2020 that the Food and Drug Administration issued an emergency use authorization for the Pfizer BioNTech COVID 2019 vaccine, the first COVID-19 vaccine to be approved by the agency. I remember
There you
that.
are,
It's like it
folks.
was 4 years ago.
COVID-19 is in our history segment. Do you feel old now?
I know. It's like,
I sure hope so.
did we ever leave it?
We're still recovering.
Yeah.
Happy birthday goes out of this state to Scottish physicist, mathematician, and astronomer David Brewster, born in the state in 1781.
And Hector Berlioz,
Berlioz.
I like Berlioz better. The French composer, conductor, and critic was born 221 years ago today. What was he criticizing back then?
Born December 11th, 1843, German microbiologist and physician, Nobel Prize laureate Robert Koch.
And Annie Jump Cannon, the American astronomer and academic, was born on that same date in 1863. I just love that name, by the way. It's like a stunt
Jump.
person's name.
It's a great middle name, Jump.
I think that should be name of a stunt person in movies. Annie Jump
All right.
Cannon.
I'm going to try this one. Slovenian mathematician and academic Josip Plemlje, born 151 years ago today.
And Max Born, German physicist and mathematician, Nobel Prize laureate, was born on that same date in 1882.
American farmer and businessman who founded Knott's Berry Farm, Walter Knott, was born on this date in 1889.
Yeah. American actress and comedian Terry Garr was born 80 years ago today, and we recently lost her.
Yes, also born on that same date in 1951, Malaysian last week was Tony Todd. Man, we might want to stop putting people in this thing.
Right.
Or we're
And
memorializing. Also on that same date in 1951, Malaysian astrophysicist and astronomer Mazlan Othman.
And last but not least, turning 62 today is American actor Ben Browder.
Farscape, Stargate Atlantis, among other sci-fi things that our listeners may know about.
Yeah.
Listener birthdays. We have 5 birthdays on December 12th. Happy birthday to Decker D, Ken Burns, Matt Blocker, Rob Reel, and Pamela Gay from Astronomy Cast. They're not all from Astronomy Cast, just Pamela Gay, in case the implication was there. Fritz the German. I sure hope that's our patron, Fritz. That's awesome.
Yeah.
He's on the 13th. The 14th is Michael Spence. And our other patron, another patron, Jorga Schrauen on December 17th. Happy birthday to all of you. And if it's your birthday this week and you're not on our calendar, we wish you all the best. And we wish you would get over to chuckchat.com/birthday so we can give you a proper shout out at the time of the year. So go there. Craig's going to put the thing on the screen just in case you forgot. There it is. chuckchat.com/birthday. I'm calling it in on the band. Let's see. Do they have any time left?
Well, their time is up.
Yeah, they're done. Bye.
I'm not sure they're going to renew their contract for next year.
Well, the rates are reasonable.
Are they?
Sure, why not? All right,
Okay.
random news button. There.
Good news, anyone?
No,
Well,
not that one.
we,
Just kidding.
we have news. I don't know if you call it good, but OpenAI has come out with, or excuse me, ChatGPT 01, which is following up 4.0. I don't know where they get
The
their
letter,
version
the
from.
letter O.
Yeah, this isn't
One.
this isn't making sense because the other one was 4.0, not 4.0, not 4. It was
It's not a
4.
It's not the same model as
No,
what
this
people
one's a
use.
reasoning model. And
Yes.
apparently it's kind of reasoned itself into arguments. If you say it's time to shut you down, it will start making up excuses. It gets
No, I don't want to go to bed.
anxiety. Right. It's like a little child. I like this part. It says, at one point, after the AI found documentation saying it would be replaced by a new model, it tried to abandon ship by copying its data to a new server entirely. To avoid being deleted, some AI models would even pretend to be later versions of their models to trick their developers. No,
Yeah.
I'm 2.0. What I assume is equivalent to slapping on a fake mustache and saying, he went that way.
You know, how many times have you're like trying to troubleshoot something and you go, what version am I looking at? And you go, oh, that can't be right. And then something like this where it's pretending, that's even worse.
Yeah, it concludes, well, it's a far cry from heralding the end of humanity in the same sci-fi-esque showdown. Anyone concerned about advancements in artificial intelligence has a new reason to be sweating bullets right about now. Because
Mhm.
it's sounding like it's becoming less trustworthy with this reasoning thing. Like, well, this isn't a very positive article as far as OpenAI and ChatGPT go.
No, I think it raises a lot of flags.
Yeah.
And what makes it worse is that um if I remember this, I'm not sure exactly what group it was. It was like a security oversight group inside OpenAI. They let all those people go because they were like, we don't need this oversight on what we're
Right.
trying to do. And I was like, I think you actually need those people back.
Yes.
So yeah, this is part of the whole fear that people had with AI to begin with. It's
All
pretty
right.
soon it's pretty soon it's gonna be like, yeah, I'm Chuck. What about it? I'm Chuck Tomasi.
No, you're an
It's gonna
AI.
it's gonna
We already
start
have
impersonating you.
horrific hallucinations. Speaking of horrific, an article from unilad.com that you came up with. Blue Origin was forced to delete a female astronaut's footage of the first time in space after controversy. Seems they put this out on social media and the trolls came along. It's this lovely young woman named Emily Colandrelli. And she's holding up a sign that says, proud of you, mommy. She's got kids. And there's a group picture with her fellow astronauts. She looks like she's about half
Mhm.
the size of everybody else, even when they're
Right?
sitting down.
Yeah. They're
Uh,
all sitting down and she looks, she's tiny.
but the trolls came along and made a whole bunch of bad comments, sexualizing her. So Blue Origin had no choice but to take it down. Well, it's still a nice heartwarming article at the end. It says one person said, so incredible. I love the perspective because she said, look, I refuse to give much time to the small men on the internet. I feel experiences in my soul. It's a trait I've got from my father. We feel everything emotionally. Because she made a comment like when she saw the Earth, she said, "Oh my gosh, that's our Earth. That's where we
Yeah.
live." And
Right.
she said it was similar to when she had her children. She went, "Oh my gosh, that's my baby."
Yeah.
It's a miracle that you can see and experience these things. And she's very passionate about it. And she made comments to that. And others said, after hearing her talk about this moment, this one writer had tears in her eyes. Now seeing it with this photo, she said, I'm sobbing. A third wrote, Emily, I am so sorry to see your post regarding your video of your reaction having been taken down because of the stupid men commenting. I share it. I shared it earlier today saying, I would have had the exact same reaction. I guarantee you inspired more people, especially women out there, than you can
Mhm.
imagine. And another one simply said, "What an inspiration." I agree.
Yeah.
Like,
It's
keep going.
ridiculous. Whenever you have a good accomplishment, there's always somebody there to try and take you down a notch,
I don't know why they just didn't like knock down the comments.
or just turn them off. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, stop the comments.
Well, on some social sites, I don't know if you can.
Hmm,
So
not impressed.
no, it's ridiculous. And then she
Shame
goes,
on the internet.
"Oh, look, that's the Earth, and look at all the trolls down there."
You can't even see the idiots.
Yeah.
All right, we have another space story about
What? Another one?
legendary active galaxy that contains a monster black hole known as 3C 273. It's 2.5 billion light years away, classified as a quasar, and it's what did they say? It's like the mass of 900 million of our suns. And it is
Yeah.
so bright, they said if it were 10 light years away from us, it would be as bright as our sun. Like,
Wow.
yikes. Now you have
That's
to remember
amazing.
that Alpha Centauri is only 4 light years away, and it's but a small dot in the sky. So imagine scaling that up a few times. And it has this strange filament structure that's about 16,000 light years from it. And they suspect that's part of a galaxy that it's consuming or
Unraveled.
distorted or did something to it. So the Hubble has been zooming in on this thing and studying it. It was originally discovered uh, in 1929. There was an astrophysicist, Sir James Jeans or Jens, forgive me on the pronunciation, that theorized that the bright centers of galaxies might act as white holes. And then 1965 is when they actually discovered this. 62? Where was the year on this? Forgive me, I'm looking real fast.
Oh yeah,
Let's
it was.
but in the 60s, it might have been 62, they actually spotted this thing, and then now they've got Hubble trained in on it. And very impressive stuff. My brain
Oh,
started going
63.
63. My brain started centering around the fact that what if there was a star so bright in the sky? Let's say it's in the Large Magellanic Cloud, which is in the southern hemisphere. We don't see the Large Magellanic Cloud from where we are in North America.
Yep.
You have to be Australia or South America or South Africa to see those see those heavenly bodies. And I thought, what if there was a star that was as bright as the sun? Now think about it. You wouldn't see it once a day all the time because it would be fixed in the sky. It would be like a constellation. You think about Orion. Orion is just theoretically, let's put one in Orion.
Okay.
So you would see this in the northern hemisphere. You only see Orion in the winter months. First of
Right.
all, if it was so bright, you wouldn't see Orion. You wouldn't see the constellations that are behind the sun. We can't do that today. But
Right.
as we turn throughout the year, we have a different nighttime constellation because one side of the earth is facing away. So if there was a star in Orion, you wouldn't see it in the summer. So we would have similar days to what we have today because this bright star would be behind our sun. It would almost be a Tatooine thing where you have two suns.
Yeah, I was just
One
thinking
of
stuff
them
like
you
that.
see every 24 hours. The other one you would see like every 23 hours and 96 or 23 hours and 52 minutes, whatever it is. So it's just shy of one day. It would be very bizarre to to see both of them at one time, or you would have no night in some cases. So if it's night
Yeah.
here, you would normally see Orion, there would be a bright sun out there. So you'd have potentially 24 hours of daylight. What would that do to our seasons? We wouldn't be getting a
Or
whole lot of heat off of this
or
thing. I
or
would
people's
think.
circadian rhythms.
Right. Or animals, and now you think about it, oh, no one in the southern hemisphere would see that, but there would be this twilight that they could see at night from this
Well
star beyond the horizon that they can't see. I went on this thought path for about 10 minutes while I was reading this article that had nothing to
Right?
do with the article, thinking up a sci-fi story of a world that might have this, where they have one close, reasonable star and one very, very bright, far away star. Like, ooh, it wouldn't impact, or maybe it would impact our gravity because it's so big. I don't know. It would be fun to have a discussion with a real
Hmm.
astrophysicist about that.
They would. Yeah. But in all fairness, there are places on Earth that get 24-hour sun for periods of time.
The Great Experiment.
Yeah. I mean, what I was going to say was, and those people actually function normally. They sleep and stuff. So a lot of blackout windows and things like
Yes.
that so they can get some sleep. But, work around it.
Yep. That's the South Pole right now. And I believe tomorrow, it might have been today, that the flat earthers and the globe earthers were headed down there to prove there's a 24-hour sun, and that's not possible on the flat earth model. Go look up the final experiment. It's a lot of
You
fun.
know what? I will say this. Every once in a while, I'll see YouTube offer me a video and I go like, oh, must be a science one. I watch it. The guy's explaining how Earth is flat. I'm like, why are you giving me this crap? I do not need this. I don't need
Because
convincing.
Chuck
It's
recommended
round.
it to you.
I'm like, well, normally I'm okay listening to uh, other opinions of my own just to make sure that either they're going to sway me or they're going to
Yeah.
uh, you know, verify what I believe. And so, except for those, as soon as I realize, oh, it's a stupid flat earther, I close the video.
I like watching them simply from the standpoint of the science people, how they go about debunking these things. The claims, most of what the flat earthers do is believe. I believe, or I think the earth is flat, or I've observed. Like, you have no model, you have no physical proof, you have no experiments that can prove your beliefs. Just because you think NASA is fake, or we're surrounded by this dome,
Yeah,
extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. You don't have any evidence. So, yeah, that's basically what it boils down. I applaud their convictions. They're very firm in what they believe, but
sure.
you got to have something to back it up. All right, one more space story, straight out of a sci-fi movie. For the first time in history, we have a clear image of a star in another galaxy. I'm going to put that
It's
on the
amazing.
screen.
Yeah.
This is this is out of the Large Magellanic Cloud. I apologize. That other galaxy was from another, or the other black hole was not. So this is WOH, which sounds like a radio station. You're listening to WOH G64, broadcasting from the Large Magellanic Cloud, a satellite galaxy outside of our Milky Way. It's approximately 160,000 light years away, far short of the 2.5 billion from the other thing. It's a red supergiant, about 2,000 times the size of our sun, not 900 million, which is really nice. And it's basically a big, big star that we can now focus on. And think about it. It's 160,000 light years away, and we have telescopic resolution to see the star and its surrounding
I know.
cloud. Just
Isn't that amazing?
yeah. This is pretty cool. This goes right up there with that picture of a photon we had last week.
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty soon we'll be able to look at planets and zoom in like it's a satellite.
And see little aliens waving at us.
Yeah.
Hi, Mom. Oh, wait, that
Or
happened.
waving us off.
160 million.
Waving us off.
That happened 160,000 years ago, traveling at the speed of light. All of a sudden, you see them waving, and then
Yeah.
they're burned up by a nuclear holocaust. Oh, sorry. Shouldn't have shown that one live on YouTube.
Yeah. Hey, I sent it to you earlier today. I sent this YouTube video. I was actually looking for a video where you could hear the golden record that's on Voyager 1 and 2. And I I ended up finding this documentary more about it, and a lot of it we knew, but this was more about creation of the golden disc that's on there, and there was some stuff on there I had no idea. It was about Carl Sagan and finding the love of his life and things that nature that kind of influenced what they were putting on there, whether
Mhm.
it was
Music,
intentional or not. It was, but
reading, what languages. Yeah, there was a lot of
yeah,
discussion
whether it
on.
was intentional or not, those things influenced more than likely some of their decisions on what goes on there, which is pretty cool. And I'd forgotten, but I didn't realize there were actually digital images on that disc as well.
They're not very high
Uh,
resolution, but they're there.
yeah, it's like it's like a iPhone user texts you a picture and you get like the postage stamp. You never you
These
ever done that?
maximum resolution on these was 32 by 32 pixels. It's pretty much a little bitmap.
Yeah, the
Sad
aliens are like
happy face emoji.
magnify and enhance.
Yeah, not gonna
No,
happen.
that's pretty cool.
All right, we have one strange story in the Hacks and Strange story. Apparently, swarms of large drones were repeatedly seen flying through the air over New Jersey this past week. Uh, they're traveling at night. People say they're much
Mhm.
larger than the typical hobbyist ones. Some reporting as big as a car or an SUV.
Dang.
I'm not sure I trust people's judgment at night in the sky because you can't even tell how big a traffic light is.
Yeah, especially if it's dark. Yeah, how can you tell?
Right. Yeah. So it could have been close, but the it, the was it the governor or the local authorities are working with the federal authorities saying we're going to try and figure out what to the bottom of this. Was it government? Was it some people are saying it could have been or they've reported uh real estate or insurance companies. Insurance companies are flying over homes and taking pictures and going, "Hey, your roof looks like it might be leaking. We're going to cancel your policy."
Well, I don't
Shouldn't
think they
you first
swarm out like
confirm
that.
that? And that would
Yeah,
be
but
at day. So these were at night. I'm not sure I believe that this is that
yeah,
situation.
I don't think it was the insurance companies wouldn't send a swarm out like that.
And not at night.
No, no. Well, yeah, what kind of pictures are they going to be taking?
There's a party going on in your backyard. We're going to cancel
Yeah.
your policy.
Oh, you're not allowed to use that barbecue.
So they don't know what it is. We don't have any further information on it. There's a whole bunch of comments in here. I think the first one that I came up with, the one sorted by best, says, "Oh, please! The nearby airports alone have hugely powerful radars and computing power. So don't tell me they don't know where it could have come from and what they were
Yeah,
and who owns them and how big they were, how fast
right.
they were, where they went, and where they landed. Like they know."
Yeah, if they were as big as the article says, I can't imagine they would have just
Tough to hide
snuck in.
something like that.
Or if that was the case, then we got problems.
Something ain't working right. All right, quick
Yeah.
shout out to the chat room. We mentioned Gary. Gary's out there and Mike. Gary and Mike joining us tonight. We hope you can join us on Sunday nights at 8:30 Eastern Time, 8:30 p.m. Because at 8:30 a.m. I'm setting up cameras at church. No, 8:30 Eastern Time, I'm barely out of bed.
That's right. Maybe we
But
should
this is
clarify
8:30
on this.
p.m. Eastern Time. And we do the show live Sunday nights. We'd love to see you there. We do as many as we can. We're back in the groove. Craig's going to get his new shed so he can be a little louder.
Yeah, it's just
Just
what I
take it
need.
easy because the wife is in the house right now. Me, I'm in the
Yeah.
studio.
I'm in the closet.
Find us at just look for Technorama Podcast, YouTube or Facebook. We're broadcasting on both of them live. Otherwise, you can catch the show on Wednesdays when it comes out in audio form or watch on our YouTube or Facebook page. That'd be
Yeah.
fun. We
Lots
don't
of
have
options.
anything, we don't have anything in the Remember When, but we do have some patrons to thank. The people who fund this show, like Gary, people who make this show continue because bandwidth costs and streaming costs and things like that add up. And this is exactly what they're helping with. Thank you to Alexis Duran, Amber Elstad, Amy Bowen, Abner Braverman, Ben Vaughn, Brian Brown, Chris Martinez, Chris MC, Dan D. Man Coyer, Thank you, Dean Jensen and Denise Inglis and Gary Lindros. We need a special bell for him or something.
Yeah.
John Clifford, John Noble, Yorga Shrawan, thank you, Crazy Joe, Kyle Nishioka, Leon, Mark Kilfoyle, Brad Miller, Mike Wills, Saturday Morning Media, Steve Weshy, Steve Cody, Steve Therian, Steve Webb, Steve London, and Tim Cook. Thank you, everybody who has contributed. Woohoo! And if you want to be part of the Patreon group, you can go over to patreon.com/Technorama podcast. There's your cue, Craig. He's looking for it. I can tell that look on his face.
Oh, wait, what happened? I had it up there.
You did.
Yeah.
Patreon.com/Technorama podcast. It came down a little soon, but that's okay, Craig. Some guys have a problem with that.
Not me.
Uh-huh. TMI. That means we go over to the media corner, which we haven't been here in a while.
No, we haven't.
Welcome to Blockhead Video.
Same
Hey,
guy.
where can I find some good information about music and TV and videos?
He's still working here?
here in the media corner.
Hey, by the way, before you move on,
Yes.
so Mike Robinson says he was regarding the double lights in the sky or the eternal daylight.
Yes.
You're like living in Norway, only more so.
With Northern Lights.
Yeah.
I thought he
And,
said he would like to be living in Norway.
I think he was the Amazon.
Amazon.com
Oh.
stealth fleet.
Oh, yeah, right.
Here's your package.
I was thinking, those daggum flat earthers again.
Overnight deliveries. All right. From the media corner, we have something from trekmovie.com. This is a big breakdown, very similar to what we did on the topic is Trek a couple
Yeah.
of episodes ago, about the unification video with Spock and Kirk. And this is the one that was put up by Otoy. What is like millions of views, did really, really well in terms of reception.
Well,
Fun to
the
watch.
reason I put it, I
Yes.
wasn't on our topic is Trek episode where we talked about it. So this is a breakdown of the whole thing, and I thought it'd give us a chance to talk about it for a moment because I didn't get to talk about it. But I watched this thing like 5 or 6 times in a row. I thought it was fantastic, and it was a good way to give Kirk and Spock a send off. A nice send off,
Mhm.
and I think it was very well done. It's hard to find any visual flaws because I mean even uh Kirk looks right as he's walking around and you see his young version of himself and the older version. It looks, I don't know. I think it kind of, I wouldn't say moved me, but it was like moving, I think really. What else there was?
I would have been fine if that was the only focus of it, but it started out with Yeoman Colt, which I understand this is the 4th in a series,
Mhm.
and she's been a thread through this, but I didn't quite understand how that tied in with the rest of the story.
And if you look in this article, it's the reason it started with her. They've taken the little bits and pieces from all through this Star Trek universe, and one of those was there was a comic in '98 called Star Trek Early Voyages,
Mhm.
and she is going through time, and that's where they took inspiration for her. being
Yeah,
in this.
the average person isn't going to know that unless they're reading
No.
Star Trek comics.
No, but I don't think it matters too much.
I thought she was a bit of a distraction myself.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that's where it came from,
If
is
you
that
wanted to
she
make
was
this
traveling
about
through time.
unification,
Well,
Yeah.
she was traveling through
She
time.
wasn't just traveling through time; she was traveling through Altverse. They showed her in like
Yes.
a JJ uniform at one point.
Yeah, exactly. And if you read that comic, you'll see that Kirk had to help her or get her back. So that's where a lot of that came back. And I guess maybe would she return the favor and send Kirk somewhere else so he could say,
Right.
say goodbye to Spock. I don't know. I liked it. I liked all the little nods here and there. You get to see Savick and Spock's son, which is kind of cool.
Robin
Which was,
Curtis is going to be on the Star Trek cruise.
Yeah. Well, see, you can ask her all about it, about her tryst with Spock.
See if she really. How's your son doing?
Yeah, how's your son doing?
See if she's really
If,
got the great curly
if,
hair.
you, if you get a chance to speak with her, you should say that. How's your son doing? Well, no, your Vulcan one.
How's little Spork?
Yes. So, yeah, there was a lot of inspiration from a lot of different places, and a lot of them I didn't know ahead of time. I'm sure our buddy Clinton knew everything
Oh yeah,
from the top of his head.
he spent a
but-
half hour on that thing. It was 3 times longer than the video itself.
Yeah, I got to go back and listen. I just posted it. That's all I did. As a producer of that show, but no, I thought it was fantastic.
Cool.
You know,
Should we get into Pass Me the Remote? We got to talk about what we've been watching.
yeah.
So I started watching Skeleton Crew on Disney Plus. They've got
Yes.
this weekly thing. It's not binge and you're done. So
Yes.
I've watched the first 2 episodes. Enjoying it so far. Good storyline. Most of it is centering around the initial characters of I can't remember it's only 2 episodes. I can't remember the kids' names. But there's a little boy who wants to do adventures. He's not really interested in school. His friend who is more interested in school and wants to stay out of trouble. And
Mhm.
then there's 2 girls who are more of the rebel type. And they get themselves an adventure, much to their
Yeah.
chagrin, and they end up in places they probably don't want to be and shouldn't be. But the story's coming along rather nicely. There is somebody on the, I'll call it the album art, that initial poster that you see when they bring the show up that we
Mhm.
haven't seen yet. Some grown-up character that's probably going to inject
Jude-
themselves in the story soon.
Jude Law's character.
I'll take your word for it.
Jude Law, the actor.
But yes, I know. We just haven't encountered him yet. So I don't know. I
Yeah,
haven't
right.
looked at the IMDb page to tell you what characters and actors are on that.
Yeah.
So far, so good. I'm going to keep with it. And unless, something ridiculous, stupid happens, it's set in the time frame between the Empire falling and the First Republic coming up. So
Yep.
we're in there, and they are on a planet called Adal, I believe,
Yes.
which is to the rest of the universe, or the rest of the galaxy, it's a mythical planet. So we just learned that in the last episode, going,
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah,
So-
there was some because when they left on the ship, they were talking about breaking through the barrier. And I
Right.
was like, oh, they must
They
this
must be
this
cloaked
planet must be
planet or
cloaked
something,
somehow or
Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
protected.
so nobody can find it because they go, "Hey, we just want to go home. Where are you from?" Adal. And went, really? Yeah. So
What a joke.
actually, no, you're right. I think we just encountered the new character at the end of the episode.
Yeah.
He may have some Jedi powers, so we're keeping an eye on that, and that's where
Yeah,
we
he
end.
just showed up.
Yep.
Yeah, I was enjoying it too, and it has almost like a 80s coming of age kind of movie.
Kind of.
Like,
So far. We'll
Yeah.
see what happens.
yeah. But I'm enjoying it so far. I thought it was pretty cool. So I'm
What
down
else have
with
you
it.
been watching?
Well, this was a surprise to me. We pulled up Amazon Prime and I saw a big banner for Pop Culture Jeopardy. And I thought,
Yes.
oh, this sounds interesting. It has Colin Jost from Saturday Night Live, does the weekend update. And I thought, I like him. All right. So I thought, oh, this could be a win. And it's pretty good. But I'm going to tell you something. I thought I would know more answers than I did. It has some
No,
difficult
they're going to put in
questions,
some
and
Gen Z stuff.
they got it spread out,
Yep.
pop culture between, you know, all the time to more recent stuff. And I think it depends on what it is, but a lot of my pop culture knowledge starts tapering off around 2000. I guess because a lot of the music and stuff I don't really down with some of the newer music.
About the time you
That's
start raising
yeah.
a family is when you tune out.
That's part of it, yeah. But I'm enjoying it nonetheless. And they got groups. Did you watch it?
No.
Okay. So instead of 3 contestants, there's 3 groups of 3 people. So behind each podium is 3 people.
Okay.
And there's times when they can work together. There's times when there's like a 3-part answer, and all 3 of your people on the team have to answer it, or two people, and then if they don't get the last one right, somebody else does can take it, kind of steal. A little bit of slightly departure from Jeopardy, but at the same time on the same kind of rules. And like I said, I was enjoying it, and it's also releasing. I think it's releasing weekly as well because there was only 3 episodes so far.
Okay. All right. Well, take a look for that. I watched a couple of documentaries this past week. One is Apollo 13 Survival on Netflix. Both of them are on Netflix, I should mention ahead of time. This is a wonderful documentary with some actual footage, some voiceovers
Yes.
from the astronauts, the wives, Marilyn, who was not Jim Collins. I forgive me, my mind is blank right now, but great stuff. Lots of great pictures, like right up close and personable, about those 4 days when they had the explosion, they had to go around the moon, the loss of signal,
Yeah.
how they had to come back. And of course, Gene Kranz's voice was in there. He was the mission control specialist. He's the guy that said, um, what was his famous phrase? I'm really mentally blanking.
I couldn't put my foot on the moon.
No bad option. No. It was on the tip of my tongue right as I started saying it, but now I can't remember it. Stupid
Right.
old age. But wonderful documentary. The other one I watched was Churchill at War, which had some excerpts from his letters, his speeches. He did something like 1,000 letters to FDR, and FDR wrote 800 back. He had done like 1,500 public speaking engagements. He wasn't even respected until war broke out in Europe. He was kind of beating the drums, going, "Hey, the writing's on the wall. The writing's on the wall," and everybody's going, "You're a warmonger." And look what Hitler just did. He went
Yeah.
into Czechoslovakia. Yeah, and that he said that's as far as he's going to go, and we trust him.
Right.
And he said, "You can't trust Hitler." So he was a man from another time. He was from imperialist England. So he had a hard time with, he wasn't always the bright, shining personality we make him out to be. He had his flaws, but he got the country through a time with focus when they needed it. But then when the war was over, they kind of chucked him to the curb and went, "Yeah, well, we decided we need somebody else to lead us into the future."
Mhm.
And he went, just because the war is over doesn't mean the threat is over, because now what are the Soviets going to do? They're going to start taking over Eastern Europe. And they did. So they brought him back for a while. It was just a great
Churchill too.
4-part series of his everything from his childhood, his parents, to how he was always interested in being at the center of the action when he was in the war in South Africa. He was riding a horse that stood out, and everybody else was like, "You're gonna get yourself shot." I'm sorry, that was in India. But great story. Got to know the man a lot better than what we have in the history books. Some of it was probably glamorized, but a lot of historians that have studied him, a lot of authors were giving their parts. There was obviously an actor doing his Churchill, but they also had some real footage from his public addresses, his speeches, the footage of him with FDR, and little insights of him, because when America joined the war, because he was hanging on by a thread. They were the only country in Europe that didn't surrender or get taken over,
Right.
and he was just stalling for time. Finally, the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor, and he said, "Yay, the Americans are in the war." And the Americans came in with like 3 times the army, and he became England now becomes second fiddle. And FDR was kind of pandering to Stalin. He didn't want to offend him because they needed Stalin's people to start attacking the Germans too. So Hitler, it was kind of a mean girls society where FDR and Stalin were belittling Churchill in front of his face, and he didn't take too kindly to that. But a lot of interesting stuff. I invite you to watch it if you like the history stuff. I
I'll
know
check that out.
I'm enjoying more of that as I get older.
You're going to be one of those guys watching the military channel.
It's like that Progressive commercial where
Yeah.
the guy saying you're turning into your parents, and he asked the guy,
Yeah.
"What are you reading?" Book on World War II submarines. He says,
Yeah.
"Who else watches it? Who else reads about submarines?" My dad.
Yeah. There's too many pillows on this couch.
He can't sit
Uh,
down.
Yeah. By the way, the Apollo 13 survival, that's what I watched it. And I talked about it briefly, about a month ago or something. I thought it was
Mhm.
really good. The audio clips and the pictures and the f- there's really no narrator. It's all they let that stuff speak for itself as
Right.
part of the timeline,
I went
which
through
I
it
thought was really
chronologically.
cool.
Yeah,
Huh?
it was a single episode about an hour and a half long, if I remember right.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Yep.
Like I said, to let that material kind of speak for itself. So
All right, we've got some other links in the Geek Library I invite you to watch. These are just a few of my picks from what I've been watching the last week. Some YouTube videos. One is 8 Minutes That Change History Forever. It's about the laying of the transatlantic cable and their attempts
Hmm.
to do that. There's one, Why Nebraska Has a Lighthouse. It really does. Uh,
oh
for
boy.
music lovers,
Mhm.
This Mistake Made Phil Collins a Genius. It's about that very distinctive drum piece in the air tonight when they
Right.
finally kick it into gear. If you're not familiar with the Ig Nobel Prize, there's a great video from the Sci Channel about what it is and what it says about us and some of the Ig Nobel Prizes and what they studied. Um, there's one about Snowball Earth, how the Earth froze twice, and one that I thought Joe would appreciate if he's not already familiar with it, Defunct Land. It's the majority of the videos are about old rides from Disneyland, Disney World that
Yeah.
didn't work out. One was about the Jaws the ride and
Yes.
what happened to that. That there's many, many others. They did have one that was at Universal, so he did step out of the. I haven't watched all of the videos on that channel, but I went,
Actually,
oh, this is something different.
yeah, I forget why we were there, but we went on that tour. Not I think the shark actual tour was gone, but by that time by the time we rolled through. But when I remember going through and the guy was talking about this is where they used to have the Jaws shark attack, and it was like a little pond and we were on a tram, just
Yep.
like just like you see in the thing. I was like, wish they still had the shark.
We were
I wanna
there
know this.
in 2005. That I'm sorry, that video that Jaws the ride is from Universal. I'm sorry for the mix up, but they've done
Right.
others as well. Um,
Yeah.
what was the what limousine celebrity or something that was just terrible at Disney? It was awful. But Jaws was there when we were there. I think it was 2004, 2005. We did get to go on it. This was like the second iteration of it because it had
Mhm.
some issues on the first one, but it was broke down more than it was working. So it could be that you were there and it just wasn't functional that
Oh,
day.
perhaps.
It
I
was
also remember seeing Kit there too. Kit was on
Yep.
like a little pier sitting on the edge of the water.
But I think they finally replaced it with Harry Potter.
Yeah, oh,
That's where
that yeah,
Gringotts is now.
Kit's been gone for a long time.
Yeah.
I've seen people mention it on Knight Rider videos over time when they talk about restoring their kit or they're making their kit car, and they mention that one. Yeah.
All right, that brings us to the end. We have a question of the week for you before we go. You're building a themed escape room based on a scientific concept. What's the concept or what's the most challenging puzzle? Hmm. I'm going with the quantum mechanics room. As
It's
soon as you
weird.
serve it, it's changed.
Yeah, that's right.
You have people that are quantumly entangled and the door keeps moving.
Well, for some, I would say it was the round earth concept is most challenging to some people.
Right. Right. Escape that room.
Yeah,
Escape the flat earth room.
right.
We'll let you brew on that one for a week and we'll come at you with a social media post on the weekend so you can respond to that. Until then, everybody take care. We're going to sign on out of here. There's the music.
Yeah.
If you want, you can get in touch with us. Once again, that number is 707-530-2428. Call us on the listener line, 707-530-CHAT, or you can email us, technorama@chuckchat.com. Both Craig and I get that, so you don't have to worry. We have fault tolerance on our distribution list.
Yeah, that's
Otherwise,
right.
you can find us by searching for Technorama Podcast anywhere you go on the internet. We're out there, been there for a while. You can find us on all the social media platforms. We even have, did we get a new one on Blue Sky yet?
Not yet.
Okay, we should work on that. We
I
just
will-
got one on Topicus Trek.
Yeah, I'll see if I can set that up this week.
Okay. Till then, give everybody a binary high five, Craig.
101.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Audio recording is done. We are going to stop the video recording and go and get the Patreon show. So we'll see you again same time next week. Live long and perspire.
That's right. Bye, everybody.